Starting, not that I'm getting it. Okay, reciprocals. Remember those? And I can hardly see that, but you can see it on yours. Actually, I found out I like to do this better. 2/3. If I flip it over, that's the reciprocal. Do you remember that? Yes? No? What happens if you multiply a number by its reciprocal? Remember how to multiply fractions from yesterday. 2 times 3 gives you what? 6 divided by 2 times 3 is 6, which is 1. So if you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you get 1. So if I have 3/4, what's the reciprocal? Husband, what's the reciprocal? 4/3. And if I multiply that, I get 12 out of 12 or 1. The reciprocal undoes whatever fraction you had there. So the next example we have up there is 17. What's the reciprocal of 17? If I have a problem with that, I'm going to put a bar here, and remember that 17 is 17 divided by 1. So what's the reciprocal of that? Just flip it. 1/17. Whoops. Okay, that's all it is. Reciprocals. Why do I care? Because when we divide fractions, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. Now that's just a little rule here, but let's look at 3/8 divided by 1/8. Oh, well, that's interesting. I have 3/8 divided by 1/8. That's just my example there. Okay, so I just copied that. That's all I did. She's in 1400. She changed classes. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to make this complicated. This is called a complex fraction. This means, because I want you to understand why you do what you do when you divide fractions. It's 3/8 divided by 1/8. That's called a complex fraction. Looks kind of complicated, doesn't it? Yes? That looks complicated to you? A fraction over a fraction? Looks hard, doesn't it? Josh, does that look hard? No, it looks easy? Oh, my calculus students think they're hard. Okay, George? So I want to get rid of, I don't like this fraction within a fraction, so I don't want that one there. What can I multiply it by to make that become 1? What's the reciprocal of 1/8? Paris, you know? It's 8/1. If I multiply it by its reciprocal, then I'll get 1. Okay, George? So guess what I have to do to the numerator, Josh? Pay attention, because if you understand fractions, they're a lot easier. I have to multiply by 8/1. Now, I could multiply that out, or I could reduce the fractions, because it's the same as this. 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 8 once. And the answer is going to be what? What's the numerator going to give you? What's 3 times 1? 3. And all of those things are 1s. Isn't this 1? 8/8, that's 1. And that's why we multiply by the reciprocal. So if you take 3/8, one way to remember is there's always 2 changes in math. So I'm going to change the dividing right here into multiplying, and then I'm going to change that into it's called a multiplicative inverse, which is 8/1. And you could multiply it out, say 24 divided by 8, which is 3. And by the way, your calculators will do just fine on this. What do we do if we have mixed numbers? And I can bring up my calculator and show that to you too. But right now, let's just do this one by hand. I have to change the mixed number to an improper fraction. Do you guys remember how to get an improper fraction? Casey, do you remember how to do that? You go 3 times 8 plus 3. What's that going to give me? Paris, you remember what that is? 3 times 8 is? A little bit smaller. I don't know what the answer is. I gotta do work. This is what? Oh, I mean the final answer here. So 3 times 8 is 24 plus 3 is 27 eighths. You got to take multi-steps if you do it by hand. Otherwise, you can just type it into your calculator. We'll do that in a second. Divided by, what's 1 and 1/4? Jeremiah, do you know what that one is? We go 1 times 4. And you got to get back up. So it's 5/4. Now, what you don't like about this is that you got to do a whole bunch of stuff. Well, it's still easier than adding fractions, I think. So 27 eighths divided by 5/4 will be 27 eighths. And then I have to change this to its opposite and this to its opposite. So it's going to be times, and then if I flip that, 4 out of 5. Is that okay? George, is that okay? Yes? No? Okay. Now, I don't want to multiply 4 times 27 and try to reduce that, because I see right now that I could reduce this fraction. What is 4/8? You guys know this one. 4 out of 8. It's 1. 4 goes into 4 what? How many times? Once. And 4 goes into 8 how many times? It's 1/2. That's right. And so what do I get in the numerator? 1 times 27 gives me 27. And 2 times 5 gives me what? 10. Now, as I said earlier, this top number is bigger than the bottom number, so it has to fall over. You've got to change it. Now, when we get into the algebra, we're not going to change it, but it's 10 divided into 27. How many times? Now, sometimes, before when we added, subtracted, it was almost always 1. Now, it's not going to be. So 10 goes into 27. How many times? Gabe? Twice? That's good. And so 2 times 10 is 20. And then we subtract, and we get what? And remember, we put the 7, what we divide, over what we divided by. 10. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my calculator. It'll take me a second. You could try the next problem. And if you want to do it on the calculator, you may do so. But then you got to learn how to do it. That's the only problem. Okay. So if you need a calculator, you know where they are. Grab one. And like I said, I don't care. My goal is I want you to be able to get the right answer. I'm doing the fractions by hand because when we get to fractions that have algebra, have letters in it, they follow the same rules. Okay, RJ? All right, CJ. They follow the same rules. So if I know the rules for numbers, I know the rules for letters. It's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to press menu. I'm going to get a calculator screen. And I can cheat. But once I get this on the... No, I can't. I got to put my pen down is what I have to do. There we go. Now I can... This is working better. Okay. When they get to the putting this on the Inspire app on the iPad, you're going to be able to just touch your screen just like I touched the smartboard. It's going to be awesome. Because I could just do this, add calculator. You can't do that. Okay, now I forgot the problem. Okay, so we are going to use, you must use parentheses. So what was the first fraction? It was on the next page. Yeah, you're going to do escape, new documents. No, we're not going to save, and now you're in a calculator screen. Yeah, we haven't been doing that much in the other class. You're on the wrong page. So you should do these with me. And maybe we'll do the quiz on fractions actually on Monday. I think that works better. We're going to do 3 3/8 divided by 1 1/4. So you ask. Now, 3 and 3/8 really means 3 plus, and then you can just do 3 divided by 8. And I check my work because sometimes I mess up. Divided by, and it was 1 and 1/4, right? I could even make it a complex fraction if I want. So it's 1 plus, and if I want to make it look pretty, I can. I have to hit this control button wherever it is on yours. And then there's this little thing that looks like little squares there. Miles will learn how to do it because you know what? You're in the age of technology. That's math equation editor on Word. It's just like that. That says that's a fraction. So it's in the blue. It's above here. Mine's above the division sign. So I get that little square thing, and it was 1/4, right? Am I right? Personally, I have no issues with putting in as 3 and 3/8. It's a lot faster. And then I press enter, and I get, oh, look at that. They made it a complex fraction. There's 3 and 3/8 divided by 1 and 1/4. Kind of like that. And then I get 27 tenths. You guys remember how I have to change that? I know Zach does because he knows how to do that. We have to change it to a proper fraction. You either can type it in or you can pick it up out of the menu. It has to be exactly the way it's written. I'm kind of shitting here. So I think the menu, it takes a little bit, a few more keystrokes. And we're going to go down to fraction tools. You can't press your screen, unfortunately. And we'll select 1. And then I don't want to type that again. I'm lazy. So I'm going to go up, highlight it, and press enter, and it'll insert it right in there. 2 and 7/10. Now I'm going to take a picture of that, put it in my smartboard. I didn't get my smartboards up yesterday either. I had just so much correction to do, I just didn't get it done. Okay, let's see. There it is. I'm getting used to that. So there it is. But all you have to do with dividing, and we'll just do this again tomorrow, but we'll work in the packet today and the worksheet tomorrow, and then on Monday, we're just going to quiz you on multiplying and dividing, not adding, subtracting, just multiplying and dividing. So let's do this one. Okay, so it's 13/20ths. Now what am I going to do? Because it's division, what do I have to do with that division sign? Change it to what? Multiplication. So it's times, and then we're going to do what with this guy? Flip it over. Multiply by the reciprocal. So it's 32/40. And honestly, I want to reduce some things before I go any further. Because 32/40 can be reduced. 13/20ths can't. 13/20ths. Does anybody know what goes into the biggest number you can think of to go into 32 and 40? Well, let's do it this way. What times what is 32? 8 times 4. What times what is 40? These are all time signs. 4 times 10, or what's another one? 8 times. What times does 8 go into 40? He's right, 5. 8 times 5. Guess what I can do? Can I cancel out those 8s? Yes. There's an 8 in the numerator. I'll divide by 8. I get 1. This is the proper way to do this. 8 in the denominator. I get 1. I see something else that can reduce. What about the 4 and the 20? I don't like the way the highlighter works, but it's the way it is. Doesn't 4 divide into 20? Yeah. So 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 goes into 20 5 times. So if I multiply everything that's left here, and it's hard sometimes I mess up, I get a 13 in the numerator, and in the denominator I get 5 times 1 times 5. What's 5 times 5? 25. And that's all there is. The only ones you have problems with are the ones that are these mixed numbers, because this is really 44/35. If you're going to put it on your calculator, it's divided by parentheses 1 plus 3/8, because that's really what you're doing. If you're going to do it by hand, you're going to have to change that to an improper fraction. Do you want to do it by hand or with the calculator? What do you think? Which is your preference? I don't care. Want to do one by the calculator? Want to try this one by the calculator? You guys awake out there? 44 over 35. Let's do the calculator. Because this one's not too bad either. So I'm going to do, I always do that. Because I picked up the pen with my fingers, the problem. Whoopsie. So let's put it down. And this is nice because this is now working. Okay. It was 44 divided by 35, was that it? Do I need parentheses? Nope. Do I have the right one? And then I'm going to divide that by what? Now I have to use parentheses. Was it 1 3/8? Yeah, wasn't it? 1 plus 3/8. I should come up with a nice answer. It'll be all reduced and everything. Oh, did I copy it wrong? I must have. Let me look again. Oh, it was 13/20ths. See? You guys, you got to help me out. Divided by parentheses, you may prefer the complex fraction, or making it look pretty, 40 over 32. Oh, no. I'm still doing the wrong one. Oh, that may be right. It was 44/35 divided by 1 3/8. No, that's right. Let's do the other one, 13/20 divided by 40 over 32. Let's check to see if I did it right. Look how complex that looks. But when I press enter, it's going to clean it up for me a little bit. Did I have 13 out of 25? Now, I would like to go back up and see what this other answer was, because we did this totally on the calculator, 32 out of 35. So let's see if I can take a picture like that. And it doesn't work like the other calculator does, unfortunately. So why don't you guys try the next one? And the answer then to this one right here was 13 out of 25. This one matches. And then I went back and checked the other one. Oh, I didn't do the other one. The 44 over 35 was 32 over 35. That's equal to 32 over 35. So if you're not going to use the calculator, you're going to have to change that. So what's that going to get in? Josh, do you know what that is? 1 times 42 plus 5. 47 over 42 divided by 2/9. Now what do? We don't change the first one because that's not the one doing the dividing by. We're going to change the second one. So this is going to become times, and this is going to flip over. So it's 9/2. And then we need to reduce. That's a tough one to reduce. I don't know about you, but I don't want to multiply 9 times 47. Too big a number. 2 times 42 is okay. I can think of a number that goes into 9 and 42. Can you guys think of one? These are not easy. Well, you know what we could do is we could factor. 47 is 47 times 1. There's nothing you can do. 42, can you think of two numbers give me 42? Josh, what goes into 42? Two numbers. Well, one always does, but something other than one. Oh, 21 times 2. How about 9? 3 times 3, all over 2. These are all times. Let's keep factoring. Now, we didn't practice this, but this is what we do in algebra. We just keep factoring until we see what's the same. What's 21? What two numbers give me 21? 3 and 7. 7. I still have this 2 here. I still have that 2. Is there anything I can reduce out of there now? What's the same in the numerator and the denominator? How about these guys? Are they the same? 3 goes in once, and I'm left with, and again, I'm probably going to use a calculator, 47 times 3 over 7 times 2 times 2. Okay, I don't have my calculator handy, so I'm going to multiply it out. Remember how to do long multiplication? It's probably been a while. What's 3 times 7? 21. Carry the 2. It's not really 2. It's 20. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14. So that's 141 divided by, you want to do these two together? What's 2 times 2? 4, and 4 times 7 is 28. And then I'm probably going to have to divide that out, and that's kind of hard, but I'll probably use my calculator. So it's a proper fraction. So do I have a proper fraction on here? 141, did I ever get one? Now you can go back up. Oh, did it again. You can go back up. You guys have handhelds. Wait, I thought I got rid of that. There we go. There. I could either find it again or I can go up here. What is this doing? My ink layer or something. There we go. Oh, there's proper fraction. Guess what? I can just press enter, pull it back. Then I don't have to go find it again if I've already been doing it. And what did we have there? I forgot. What was it? Okay, make me go back. 141 over 28. Ooh. I don't want to do it by hand. That might be when I go get the thing. It's 5 and 1/28. You could divide it if you want to. So it's 5 and 1/28. Now the good news is when we get to algebra, you're going to leave it like that. Right now we're just practicing with that, and when we're done with fractions, we're done. Okay, what's my next page? Do we have some more practice problems in here? So there are some problems to practice with. Those are easier than we just did. The ones we do were kind of hard. So let's work on these, and then tomorrow I'll give you a worksheet on this stuff. Remember, tomorrow's a shortened schedule because of the pep test. So why don't you try those? I mean, this one's not too bad to do by hand. The crayons are kind of cool, but you can't see them very well. It's 5, 6, and then what am I going to do? Change that to what? Multiplication times, and then what am I going to do with this? 9 out of 7. I think the problem you're going to have is going to be reducing them. What goes into 9 and 6? Yeah. Yeah. What goes into 9 and 6? 3. 3 goes in 3 times. 3 goes in twice. If you're going to take the ACT, you're going to have to know how to do that or use a calculator. These calculators will do it for you. So I'm going to get 15 over 14. Then I guess what? I've got to divide that. Can we divide that in our heads? How many times 14 go into 15? See if we can do that. Once. If I subtract 15 minus 14, what's left over? 1 out of 14. So like I said, I don't care if you use the calculator. If you want to use the calculator, do that. If you want to do it by hand, it will take you a little longer probably, but go ahead and do that. And then when we're all done with this packet on Monday, I'm going to collect the packet. And in the meantime, I'm going to print out what you guys are missing. But I know Josh turned in some things and I haven't